Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the sportstuff.com. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIN Radio, Stitcher, and Double Twist, and of course Google Play Music, but I probably can't say all of them all the time. I'm probably going to go with the big four, with number 4 coming up very, very soon, hopefully in the next week or two. Those of you that may have seen the Facebook page will see that, but I won't say it now because it's better if it's final. It'll be nice. It's not guaranteeing I'm going to get 1 billion listeners, but, it's just kind of another tentacle. You know what I mean? It's just another tentacle. The Timberwolves need some more tentacles of winning or something. I mean, I don't know. They played 4 games last week, and, well, what happened? They lost all of them. Yeah, I mean, that's all. The show's over. They lost all the games, so tell all your friends how great Timberwolves Explosion is. That's... yeah, I don't know. The 4th one's the most intriguing. That one's got the most material, we'll say. The first 3 were, the Wolves were in the games and all that. They're in the games, but they didn't finish well, and they just came up short. They put in a good effort, but just came up short. Yeah. I hate when coaches and players say that, and commentators say, especially, FSN or radio or whatever, everywhere. Oh, they just came up short. It's the lamest cliche ever. It's almost more lame than like backs against the wall. Nobody believed in us. Yeah, I don't care who believed in you or not. Just play the bleeping game. Who cares? Play the bleeping game. Now I'm going off God knows where. The 17th of January, the Minnesota Timberwolves went to Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Indiana. Yes, sir. Good job, Pacers. They just continue to play well. Victor Oladipo, the target date for his return still remains against the Chicago Bulls, the state rivals there. Not interstate, but neighboring state rival there. Basically, almost neighboring cities. Almost, but no. And this is not Gary, Indiana. It's Indianapolis, so it's a little ways. Yeah, he'll be playing against the Bulls. Victor Oladipo finally returning. Indiana's been playing damn good, though, without that pretty good player. They've hung in there. They hung in there last postseason as well. Josh Okogie, nice hustle throughout this game. Loved what he did. 15 points off the bench. Jordan McLaughlin is possibly earning something. I wouldn't say he's going to get some long-term contract, but maybe kind of a year-by-year thing. They'll keep bringing him back, or some other team will sign him for like 2 or 3 years here and there. But he's going to be earning some money, I think. He's got a nice three-point shot, nice range. Love the guy, actually. Not love him, but like him significantly. Definitely. A weird week, and we'll get to the material later. But this was an okay game. Karl-Anthony Towns finally returned. He's a little rusty. He's trigger-happy like always, 3 of 9. And the point totals are higher than they were before Karl-Anthony Towns came back. So, yes, Karl-Anthony Towns is back. Remember last week I was like, he's never coming back. If he comes back, he comes back. And he came back. So, yeah, 9 of 21, 27 points. He still had more points than field goal attempts. That's a start. Same with Wiggins. Wiggins. But it's not like he was bad in the first 3 games this week or anything. And the second half against the Bulls, which ended up amounting to, a prettier score. Yeah, a prettier score. The Allen Crabbe trade was still pending. And Jameis Winston, hopefully Jameis Winston didn't get him first, but too soon? Too soon? Jameson Winston, the crab legs thing. Gorgui Dieng back to the bench. 2 of 3 from downtown. I want Gorgui Dieng starting. I don't know. Culver and Napier starting at both of them. Isn't Napier a spark plug regardless if he starts or sits? You know what I'm saying? Does it really hurt him that much if he comes off the bench and Gorgui starts? Does it hurt him that much? Because I think that's a wiser decision. Culver's going to be starting, like it or not, and he's gotten better. He didn't have a great game against the Pacers. Nobody really had a great game against Indiana, except you could say Josh Okogie. He played very well in the 25 minutes he played. 5 of 7 in the great hustle and 15 points off the bench. Unfortunately, though, that was during a Indiana run where the Pacers were kind of pulling away for a while there before the Wolves made a comeback. He was a minus 20, which is just crazy. Hard to believe a guy with that good defense, but again, sometimes he's a gambler. TJ Warren was kind of hitting everything. He wound up with 28 points. Justin Holiday, I really like him as a player. It's crazy, though. His number's not good in this game, but the game before, Justin Holiday, very good. And he's got that high IQ. He ended up passing off of Covington's back in like the closing minutes. I hated the way this game ended. A terrible shot, shooting way too early, just terrible choice. I don't know. Having Shabazz Napier hoist up a 3, you're down by 2. I know you're going for the win on the road, but I don't know. It was kind of forced, and there was like 6 seconds left on the clock, which I guess, okay, yeah, you can get an offensive rebound, but did they get an offensive rebound? No. They got a worthless jump ball that did them nothing. Absolutely nothing. It just ended up wiping more time off the clock, and ultimately the Justin Holiday play. I don't know. Just came up short. We just came up short. That's all. That's great. I'm sick of saying that. I'm sick of hearing it. And it is the holidays in Indiana. It's always the holidays. It's Justin Holiday and Aaron Holiday. Yes, Aaron Holiday. Obviously, some good moments in the game. He was the better Holiday. He was the Christmas to Justin Holiday's President's Day or something. And happy MLK Day, and happy belated MLK Day. Just saying, I should have said it on the previous show as we're heading into it, but I suppose it just kind of, I apologize for that. So, God rest MLK's soul. God bless him. We'll give him a moment of silence. God bless Martin Luther King. God bless Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King. I apologize I did not get to that on the last episode of Timberwolves Explosion. This game, it was not bad. It wasn't bad. It just, I don't want to say the cliche anymore. You know what it is. C-U-S. Cuss. Came up short. There, I said it. We just C-U-S. Yeah, sick of it. Alan Crabb, well, am I excited with him so far? No. At the press conference, he quote-unquote won the press conference, I guess, if that's what they say here in the Twin Cities nowadays, with Josh Donaldson coming. That's the guy that won the press conference. I think everybody's excited about new Twins third baseman, Gold Glove, everything, personality. That guy's cool, man. That guy's cool. I'd love to have a teammate like that, as long as he didn't brush me off, but I don't think he would. As long as I was good enough to be on the team anyway. I'm just saying, that guy's cool. I love Josh Donaldson. A little bit closer to my generation, but still a teeny bit younger. I'm still a X, and he's kind of like a super old millennial, I guess you could say, at 34. Well, back-to-back, Minnesota heads back to Minneapolis. Not bad attendance at all to see the world champions, and it's a good group of players, even without Kawhi Leonard, and of course the guy that replaces Kawhi Leonard as the star of the team is awesome, and he's going to start in the All-Star game. I voted for you, Pascal Dupuis, Pascal Siakam. What a nice player he is. Didn't stand out superly in this game, but he does the little things like they all say. Fred VanVleet coming back from a hamstring was torching the Timberwolves time and time again. That was just slightly frustrating. It was kind of 2 point guards. It might have been like. It was kind of like C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard out there with Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet, pardon me. That was kind of their version of it there in Toronto. They torched us for like almost 60 points in the game. I mean, have mercy. 57 points for those two guys and well over 50% and torching us from downtown. I mean, what were they, 12 of 16? That's harsh. That's 75%. That's harsh. Kind of torched us a little bit. Andrew Wiggins always plays well against the Toronto Raptors. He had some okay moments, but he did get the triple-double. Did not shoot efficiently like usual. Covington, just look at this. Just look at the whole damn thing. You just sit down and, you're 2 of 3, you're 4 of 5 in games from downtown, and then you get this BS where when you're shooting poorly, you shoot more. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Seriously. I mean, how many games did Robert Covington go 5 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 4 from downtown, or something like that? It's like, why didn't he shoot more? But then this game, 8 of 20, seriously, 4 of 13. Excuse me, he didn't even make 5. Towns 1 of 7. Yeah, he's just rusty. Yeah, 12 points. He's just rusty. I know. Yes, I'm sure he is, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. And you know the real reason why Karl Anthony Towns didn't play well in the game, right? Do you know why? Because it's the same son of a gun with the Memphis Grizzlies that frustrated and shut down Karl Anthony Towns in the past. That would be Marc Gasol. Yes, congratulations on the ring last year. Well deserved. And I say that with sincerity. I like Marc Gasol a lot. I wish he was on the Wolves, because what do you think would happen if Marc Gasol was on the Wolves? Karl Anthony Towns would blow up. He would. He would blow up. He'd be free. I'm free. I'm free, not free falling, but free. Yeah, he'd be flying like an eagle. Like I said last episode, he'd be the power forward for the Wolves, and he'd be floating everywhere. He'd get 2 or 3 blocks a game. He would get 15 rebounds a game. He would get 29 points a game, and I'm not kidding you. That's what would happen if Marc Gasol was plugged in the middle for the Wolves. I'm not even kidding. And the Wolves' defensive numbers wouldn't suck as bad when Karl Anthony Towns is back starting and playing again. It's the weirdest thing ever, isn't it? It's like they just forget to play defense or something when Karl Anthony Towns is in the lineup. I do not understand it. It is an urban legend if I've ever seen one. I do not understand it. Like, Karl's out. The Wolves' point levels are down because the offense isn't the same. And you get Jared Culver, it's like Jared Culver had an awesome game, by the way. I mean, tip-ins, catch-and-shoot threes. He got a career high from downtown, but he got a little too excited about it. 10 attempts, that's got to be a career high as well. 26 points for him, 2 blocks from behind. I mean, one of them from behind. Just an athletic, great play. Jared Culver was beautiful in this game at the end of the day. He made half of his shots, 8 of 16, those floaters, and he was taking a lot of catch-and-shoot threes and was great. Shabazz Napier doesn't need to be starting. 26 minutes and 2 points. He does not need to be starting. Shabazz Napier doesn't need to be starting. Can I say it again? Gorgie, power forward. Center. Gorgie, center. Excuse me. Center. Gorgie at center. Karl at power forward. And, Robert to the 3. Andrew to the 2. Culver to the 1. Shabazz, spark plug. But back to Karl. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. I mean, it's just, the defense was spectacular when he was out. And Gorgie was starting and this and that. He comes back. Obviously, the points weren't as high, but the points allowed were, really unbelievable. As good as they were in the league, pretty much. And pretty much dead last in defense when Karl is in the lineup, which is kind of silly. It shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't make that much of a difference. But it does. Still a solid game from Gorgie off the bench. Nice to see that he's still getting the good numbers, even with the limited minutes of 18 in the game. Kind of missing Naz Reid a little bit, but again, the guy is too trigger happy from downtown. Too trigger happy. It's okay to shoot threes, but not 10, 11 a game when you're barely, on the roster. Sam Perkins, your game is similar to him. You look like him out there the way you play, but you're not quite there yet, Naz. Just don't be too trigger happy. That's my big wish. Culver, though, beautiful game, but ultimately Toronto, after kind of a close back and forth effort, 39-point first quarter, the Wolves played very well for a while, and then the third quarter happened, and the fourth quarter happened, and the guards just started torching them from downtown, and those guards, of course, Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry, who's always been very strong against the Timberwolves historically. Toronto's bench didn't do a whole lot of, they only made 1 3-pointer the whole night, but that starting lineup, or at least those 2 guys, torched the Wolves for 75% from downtown. Good, solid game for them. 53 attempts for the Wolves, though. Again, too trigger happy. 50. Did you hear that right? 53 attempts for the Wolves. 5-0. In the past it might be 15, but 50? That's too much. Pardon my French. I better clean that up. I'm dropping F-bombs here, and I don't even mean to be doing that. Too flippin' much. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So, I don't know. Wolves lose 122 to 112. Let's just keep moving. They look like Portland, kind of, but better, way better. Denver Nuggets, they look kind of like a way better Memphis. The defense is good. They can hit some threes. They can do a whole lot of good things. Michael Porter Jr., not Kevin Porter Jr. I could get those two mixed up easily, even though they don't look at all the same. One's a bigger guy, and one's a short guy with big poofy hair who's out with a knee injury for 4 to 6 weeks. Against the Wolves, the injury took place. Michael Porter Jr., what a game. Double-double. An embarrassing block on Culver. Made him look bad. I mean, it looked bad. It's bad. If you want to look at it, go ahead. It's bad. 4 of 8 from downtown as well. A little bit of everything from the guy. Awesome. 4 assists. What a nice game for Michael Porter Jr. Strong performance. Wiggins, it's just, he's back. I don't know what the hell he's doing out there. Andrew Wiggins is back full force, and the field goal attempts are higher than the points again. It's back. 17 attempts, 15 points. It's just, And again, Napier's not a starter. I got to keep saying it. It's just the same thing every game. 25, 26 minutes. He puts in good energy. Some nights he'll get double digits, he'll get hot, but that doesn't mean he needs to be starting. It doesn't mean Okogie needs to be starting either. Look at the energy he brought off the bench. 26 minutes, 16 points. He was good. He was good and solid. Good effort, a couple of steals, a little bit of everything. What a strong week for Josh Okogie. I mean, he's in the conversation now, I'd have to say. Alan Crabb played against Toronto, I believe, but he only made 1 3 in 16 and a half minutes and was, I don't know, he had a couple of assists swinging the ball around for catch and shoots, but that's about it for Alan Crabb. Nothing spectacular. Just, again, swinging the ball, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if your swing sets up a catch and shoot, that's great. That's good basketball. I love that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I'm not too excited. I guess, nope. Oh, that's right. Alan Crabb was sick against Toronto. That's when I got pissed off. So Alan Crabb's debut, he made a three-pointer. So this was the game. That's what I thought. He made a three-pointer, and, a couple of swing passes helped out. Denver, though, again, another low-scoring game. Minnesota and Denver just play a defensive battle, and Jokic, he continues to remind me of Arvydas Sabonis. To me, he's the closest thing by far. Very similar player, where he can hit threes. He did not make one in this game. He'll get some turnovers. He'll get frustrated over fouls not being called on his opponent, whoever it is. And I don't know, but he'll get a double-double every night. And he's just a big bruising ogre out there, but a very damn talented big bruising ogre. And the other guy, Michael Porter Jr., what a nice game. Again, I already talked about that. Jokic just kind of brings a little bit of everything. Jokic. And Will Barton continues to torch us for one of those 15 idiotic trades on draft night 2011 with the Houston Sprockets and other teams like that. Oh, man. Brad Miller. Yep, we got Brad Miller for his retirement year, basically. And he retired basically right before Rick Adelman did, basically. They were old buddies. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know. This is, it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a bad game, but it just, the whole game, you felt like we weren't going to win. It's one of those. Not an efficient night. You thought, okay, we can win. We can. We're within striking distance the whole game. We'll get a small lead, and then it's just, it's just not your night. They hit a three-pointer, or you can't you can't make an easy shot, this and that, and you're taking too many stupid shots. Wiggins 1 of 7. Covington 1 of 7. Crab. Crab's okay. Gorgie extremely efficient, and it only got 12 and a half minutes. 12 and a half minutes for Gorgie Zhang. I don't know. I mean, Carl had 29 points and all that, 28 points. He was good in the game, but was he spectacular? No. I think, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it sometimes. I love you, Ryan Saunders, but I don't understand this one. And I do love what Ryan Saunders did at halftime and after the Bulls game. I'll leave that as is. Terrible field goal percentage all over the place. I don't know. I felt like we were playing the Memphis Grizzlies again, with Marc Gasol. Yeah, again. I mean, Marc Gasol, like, I swear, it's like I go to bed at night and it's like, Marc Gasol. That's what it's like. And Karl Anthony Towns, has this 14-point game because of that, and the Wolves lose 97 to 96 or something to the Memphis Grizzlies, and it just kept happening, or 97 to 88. It's like, we only got 88 points in 2018, 19, 20. And that's kind of what it was like. But that's what this game felt like, unfortunately. Frustrating night. And I do believe the weather was not too good that night either. So it didn't help the attendance. I don't even want to get into that. I'm as guilty as the rest of you. But with my schedule, I cannot attend games during the week. So it kind of is what it is. I wish I could get in with a press pass and quit my regular job and have a full-time job covering the Wolves. That'd be a dream come true. Maybe after-game podcast, weekly thing like this. This would still be what it is. But like after-game podcast, vent line, whatever, with you calling in or something. Or just, vent chat. And then I read your comments, this and that. That'd be fun. Maybe someday. Make my dreams come true. Somebody out there that might be listening. But not so good game on the, Monday the 20th. In Target Center, Wolves take a small trip to Chicago. 5-hour drive? No. It's like a 45-minute flight to Chicago. In United Center, of course, we all know that place where the repeat three-peat, the second three-peat for Michael Jordan. Got things going there many years ago. Karl Anthony Towns at 40 points. Andrew Wiggins at 24. They played well. They just came up short. Yeah, they played well, but just came up short. No, they played like bleeping sled dogs the whole first half. Ryan Saunders lit them up, as he should have. And they played better in the second half and still lost. One thing I'll say about this game, and I got to comment on this, because TNT last night had the Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Lakers, which is, nice and everything. But was that not the ugliest group of colors meshed on that TV screen last night? Did it make you feel like you're going blind? That gray court, bright golden yellow jerseys on the Lakers, and then like gray, white, whatever the heck jerseys the Brooklyn Nets were wearing kind of meshed in with that weird court. I felt like I was going blind. I really did. The Wednesday game, CBS Sports, we could say what we want about CBS, but their picture quality is better than any national channel out there. And that's basically what game this was. It's a CBS channel in Chicago. The Wolves sky blue city jerseys compared to the classic Bulls red ones, the Jordan era red jerseys, very aesthetically pleasing in a big way. Looked really good. It was calming and comfortable to the eyes. It looked beautiful and clear. So just saying the contrast between that Nets and Lakers game compared to that. But that's about the only thing that pleased me about this game. Sure, 40 points is great. 40 points from Karl? Awesome. Great second half. 4 of 8 from downtown. It took you 24 attempts to get there, but that's not that bad. It's really not. Andrew Wiggins, 1 of 6 at the free throw line. I mean, he did get 9 assists in the game and stuff, but he had 3 points in the first half. He had 0 points in the first 20 minutes into the frickin' game. 0 points in the first 20 minutes into the frickin' game. Yeah. Shabazz Napier was pretty solid, though. I'll give him credit. But again, he could get these points off the bench easily. He got 16 points, and that's good. We appreciate that. Doing that furious rally by the Timberwolves that they didn't even win the fourth quarter, which is alarming, considering their furious rally in the second half was so impressive. They didn't even win the fourth quarter, which, well, in the closing minutes, when you're doing well, you took a tiny lead finally, a 1-point lead, 107-106, and nothing really happened much after that. Just really, And should I get to the quotes here? StarTribune.com, angry Ryan Saunders rips into Andrew Wiggins and Timberwolves after team loses 7th in a row. Coach lights up Wiggins, but team still drops 7th in a row. Well, I appreciate the effort in the second half. They asked him about it. Ryan Saunders was mad as hell, not going to take it anymore. Which one's the columnist? Chris Hine. Yep, good job, Chris. I like this guy. Okay, so what happened was, yes, Ryan Saunders in the post-game, press conference was about 4 or 5 minutes long. It was not really a press conference, kind of just a little gathering with a microphone around a guy standing by the wall, which usually is how it is on the road. He described it as a one-sided conversation. When they said it's a conversation, Ryan Saunders says you can call it a conversation if you want. It was one-sided. I was the only guy talking. They say he was directed his ire at Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins' comment afterwards about, they asked him what did Ryan Saunders say or what happened there. He says he was yelling at me a lot of the time. I needed it. The first half was a bad first half. I wasn't aggressive. I was settling. I feel like in the second half I was just a little more aggressive, tried to get downhill, which, okay, is a quote, I guess, nowadays, creating for guys and do whatever I could to help the team win. And yes, 9 assists, commendable second half. But why do you have to be so crappy and settling in the first half? I think that's what we should call Andrew Wiggins now. You know how the silent assassin? We should call him the settler. Because, remember these funny commercials that were on like a year or two ago? Don't be a settler. Where it was like kind of making a joke where it's some guy with a pioneer hat and a stagecoach and, whatever, 1840s or whatever, gold rush, whatever. Don't be a settler. Well, Andrew, you better get that cowboy hat going and or whatever the heck they wore way back in the 1840s. I shouldn't even be talking like that about it, but it's just, I don't know. Just have that stagecoach going, and be a settler, I guess. Should that be his new nickname? Because the settler's back. Or how about this? When he does play super well, and he is the silent assassin. I will call him the silent assassin. But when he plays like crap, I'm going to call him the settler. Was he the settler against the Denver Nuggets when he was 6-17? Yes. Andrew Wiggins was the settler. He was the settler. That's his new nickname that'll be added to his silent assassin. So it's a tale of two people. It's a split personality. You got the settler and the silent assassin, the ninja who'll cut your throat, and he's spectacular. He's Ninja Gaiden out there. He's Ryu or whatever. And then he's the settler, where he's just, he's planting a stake in the ground. We're here. Yes. I'm just going to keep taking this crappy shot. And, I missed. That's okay. Back down the court. Like I used to make fun of him against the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. After a couple of good games in games 1 and 2, it was da-da-da-da-da-da. That's settling when you hear me making that sound effect out of my mouth. Really annoying. Interesting quote here, too, from Andrew Wiggins. Every night we want to play for him as hard as we can for him. And that first half, we didn't do it. We had to fix it. Then just do it. I know you can't be gung-ho every second. You'd have a heart attack. I understand that. I get that. You'd get injured. You'd pull this. You'd pull that. But, I mean, my goodness. At least make it look like you're playing hard sometimes. I mean, I know you can't be 1,000%. Game 7 of the NBA Finals, final like 30 seconds, final 2 minutes here, going for the glory at the end, and all that. But, I mean, it's a big difference when the settler shows up. Andrew the settler shows up. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. It's not pretty, man. Ryan Saunders said, I liked Ryan Sanders. Ryan Saunders said, I liked the second half. I love the way he talked. He looked like a completely different guy. Should I imitate how he said it? I liked the second half. Hated the first half. You're not going to win games like that. We're not a very good basketball team right now. I like Ryan Saunders. You could actually hear a teeny bit of flip in his voice. A little bit. It's a little bit there. There's a tiny hint of flip in there. And this was the quote that pissed me off. And it pissed Dan Barrero off, too. On the, the afternoon show on KFAN. This did not sit well with me. A lot of you out there with your green and blue shades, whatever, whether they're sky blue, they're dark blue, they're green, they're blue, they're black, whatever shades the Timberwolves colors are, take the frickin' things off and read this quote and read it and listen to what it says. Understand. Read it and understand what it says to you. We're receptive. And this is regarding Ryan Saunders getting mad, and he said it's the second time this season that he blew up at us. Okay, so we're receptive because we're willing to take criticism, constructive criticism. We're willing to take those kinds of days and use it as motivation, not to take it out a wrong way. That's a testament to these guys in the locker room who are putting their pride and their ego to the side for the betterment of the team.
There's a difference.
Shut up!
And
okay, so here's the thing. It sounds cute if you're wearing shades. But if you take the shades off, you don't see every, or say you put the good shades on, where you notice all the signs on all the billboards say obey, like listen, obey, like you're following the system here. No, you got to wake up, guys. Take the red pill here. Take the red pill. Just put that blue pill away somewhere else. Let some other idiot have it. This is not good. It's just like, okay, well, we're willing to listen. Yeah. We're paying you how much money to listen to criticism? Or how about you don't have a little bit of sense of pride out there? We're losing to bleep in Chicago, and we're playing like garbage. We're not even attempting to we're not even showing a legitimate effort out here. Take some personal pride. This is bullcrap. We should be kicking these guys' butts. Or at least, beating them. We should at least be ahead in the game, whether it's 5 points or 15. Rather than going out there and just kind of the old settler, the homesteader, blah blah blah, the beautiful old stagecoach, 1849. We're gonna look for that gold, that type of thing. Well, Carl, it ain't 1849 anymore. No time to be settling, that type of thing. And it's nice, Did it have to take Ryan Saunders blowing up at you to play better against the bleeping Bulls? I mean, and are you in any position right now to say, it's the Bulls, we'll catch up, we'll be okay, as in settling and then turning it on in the second half? Are you in any position? No, you'd lost 6 games in a row. And how many games total, basically? And after the Indiana game, the Wolves had lost 8 straight games with Karl Anthony Towns in the lineup. After the Indiana game. So chalk it up to 11 now, and had not won a game with Karl Anthony Towns in the lineup since before Thanksgiving. Amazing statistic there. Covington also had something else to say. Where was he? That was the most upset that I've ever seen him. Yeah, and you could see it in his face, Ryan, after the game. He sparked that second half pretty much because of how he came into the locker room during that halftime. He just put a fire under people. And he had to. And you know what? Good for Ryan Saunders. Good for Ryan Saunders. Good. That's good, but again, I mean, you're accepting that you're accepting criticism. It's good. That's good and everything. But why not wake up and get to a point where he doesn't even have to do that? That shouldn't even have to happen. It shouldn't even have to happen if you really have any sense of pride out there. It's just that quote kind of set me off. I was like, what the hell is he saying? What the hell is he saying? I couldn't even believe it. I'm not even sure I'm wording it the way I want to right now. When I first heard it, I had a lot more to say. I wish I recorded it then. It's just, that just comes off as seriously, oh yeah, well, we're willing to take it. Yeah, we're willing to take criticism. Yeah, that's just part of the game, we're willing to take it. We're accepting it. No, there's more to you than that, and Andrew Wiggins than that. There has to be more. If that's all it is, if that's all you are, then I don't see you as a winner. I don't see it, and I'm extremely annoyed with that. Let's pray to God in heaven that is not the case. Please, Karl, don't be this person that I'm thinking you might be right here by reading that quote. That bugs me really bad. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Wiggins wraps things up. How did he say? And the way the way Ryan Saunders, the look on his face when he said this, Ryan Saunders will say this first. He says, I was happy with how he played in the second half, but then his face changed. From kind of a semi-annoyed poker face to a Godfather look. I expect that out of Andrew moving forward. I loved what I saw there. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ryan. So he's not just this nice guy. Where Wiggins, for his part, said he's a nice guy. So it takes a lot for him to get mad, and I feel like we want to play for him. Okay, yep, this is, we all like him, enjoy him as a coach and everything. We can relate to him. Every night we want to play for him as hard as we can. And that first half we didn't do it. We had to fix it. Yeah, well, I don't know. If you like him so much, you can do better than that. Stop settling, Andrew, please. Stop settling. Okay, I gotta go take a shower now. I'm all covered in sweat. Not really, but almost. A little bit. I can feel a little bit going on right now. That was really something. So I feel for Ryan Saunders right now. And guys, Karl, Andrew, whoever else, great effort, a Kogi, this and that every night. Just don't settle. Take... I don't know. Follow the example set by Josh Okogie. He plays hard. He plays hard and the energy all the time. The talent level isn't at Andrew and Karl's level. If they can bring a little bit, something closer to Okogie, that would be really nice. I mean, you'd see really something going on. Well, with that said, we'll take a break. We're going to preview 3 games heading into the month of February and all that. And, well, just keep going from there. Hey, fellow settler, what you doing over there? And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, you pesky varmints. We are going to preview 3 games as we head into the month of February and wrap up the month of January, which is really all that's going on here. We get to play the Rockets again. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, it's always the best matchup ever. We always kick their butts. It's easy. Houston, Minnesota, easy. They're wusses, 24th of January today. Target Center. It's Target Center. Yeah. I don't know. Harden's not been playing very well. He's been kind of a mess, and God knows what's going on there other than it's just James Harden. We only lost by 30 last time in Houston. We lost by 20 in the Target Center. So what's the round number going to be this time? 25, 30, 10? Will we keep it within 10 and say that we played a good second half at least? Is that what's next? Are we gonna settle in the first half and then have a furious rally in the second half and still lose by 10 or something? Is that what it's gonna take? I don't know. We all know who the Houston Rockets are. This and that. James Harden, Russell Westbrook. He's missed a few games this year. Surprise, surprise. Ben McLemore's been kind of the main constant with Houston all season. He's played the most games. But Harden averages 36 points a game and such. His three-point percentage has dropped a lot. He's attempting, a crazy amount of threes. He missed 73s in a small stretch recently. He's missed a lot of three-pointers. He struggled, but he takes way too many. I don't really want the Wolves to head this direction where, we'll win some games, but never win anything, significant. That's what I'm afraid of with Houston. I don't want to get too Houston-ish, so to speak. Unless we have Clint Capella on the roster, that'll be okay. Averages about 2 blocks, 14 points, 14 rebounds. Does anybody have an idea who my favorite Houston Rocket is? Can you guess? Is it A, Clint Capella, B, Clint Capella, C, Clint Capella, or D, all the above? That's my favorite Houston Rocket. Yeah, I think that's an easy choice. Yes. Those are my 3 favorite Houston Rockets right there. Clint Capella. Yeah, okay, you get the idea. We all know who they have. They've lost 4 games. They had lost 4 games in a row before beating Denver fairly impressively, 121-105. They lost to Memphis. Man, that team's getting good. Your team's getting good, Hank McCoy. Your team's getting good, Hank McCoy. I just called him Hank McCoy again. Wayne Hunt, yes, host of the Courtside podcast. We'll be talking about that more and more and more. What an awesome show most recently. He had some comments about Wiggins and all over the place. Vince Germano had a lot to say about the Brooklyn Nets and what they're going to turn out to be in the next couple of years. Boy, you better check that out because I agree with him. Should I give a hint? Would it spoil things? But let's just say he's not. He doesn't have a very bright outlook for the Brooklyn Nets coming up forward. Kyrie Irving's no good. Let's just say he's just no good. He really is. He can play basketball. He's good at basketball, but there's something missing, boy. There really is. Other than that beautiful sniper shot he hit against the Golden State Warriors in Game 7, which I'll never, ever forget because it was one of the happiest days of my life as a basketball fan. Let's just leave that as is. It was a wonderful moment. But other than that, it's not been good ever since. Memphis Grizzlies, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies by 11. This is the Rockets now. The Rockets lost to Memphis by 11. Yeah, and I know. I don't like the Rockets, but they win a lot of games. And like I said, they're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. And here come the playoffs, and what's going to happen? One of the LA teams is going to knock them out in the second round. Something like that. One of the two will knock them out. The Lakers or the Clippers will win the Western Conference. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. Portland Trailblazers, who've been playing pretty good lately, but got beat handily by Dallas last night. Wow. 47 points by Damian Lillard, by the way, too. Whew. 10-point loss to Portland at home for Houston. The Lakers, no huge surprise, beat the Rockets, which will happen in the playoffs as well, 124-115. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are actually pretty good, too. We get to play them next. They beat the Rockets by 5 in Houston. That's impressive. Very impressive win for Oklahoma City. 4 losses in a row for the Sprockets, and then they get to visit us tonight in the Target Center. Wolves versus Rockets is not a good matchup. It just isn't. And, we're just looking up to them because they're so great. I don't want to be the Rockets, Gerson. I don't want to be the Rockets. We could be similar, but please have your own wrinkle. I don't want to be the Rockets because they're not going to win a championship, Gerson. They're not going to win a championship. They're not. And I don't think 53-point attempts is going to win a championship either. I don't care who you have on your team, unless you have Larry Bird, Steph Curry, and Ray Allen all on the same roster. Which, how many times does that happen? Oh, that's about it. Cricket time right there. It's not going to happen. So, just 53-point attempts is dumb. Houston beats the Wolves by 20. They're just going to beat the Wolves by 20. I mean, what else is there to say? They're going to give up 100,000 points again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll get that inspired effort, this and that. I don't think we're going to beat the Rockets. It's just depressing. 8 losses in a row. I hate this so much, but it is what it is. The Rockets are going to score like 125, 129. Wolves will wind up with like 119, something like that. Maybe we'll get within 10. Maybe we will score a lot of points. I think we will if Carl's in the lineup. He'll get his 35 points, which I do believe will happen, by the way. But the Wolves come up short. as cute as that sounds, and lose by 10-15 to the Rockets. I mean, you could say 20, but I think Rockets do get 129 in the game. Doesn't feel good, does it? It just doesn't, but that's what's going to happen. Oklahoma City Thunder. Is it time to finally beat these sons of biscuits? I hope so. This is a home game for the Wolves. Oklahoma City is just the most annoying team ever. You got to love SAG. That guy's a good player. I'd love to have him on the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's another one of those guys you identify on these other teams, and it's like, oh boy, what would it take to get him? And it would take a lot, unfortunately. He was a legitimate first-round pick. Not like a star, but a very legitimate player. We've had some entertaining close games against this team forever. That 117-104 game on the 13th, not that long ago, last episode of Timberwolves Explosion, was not a good game. It was bad. It just was bad. I mean, that was not a good game. Very entertaining overtime game, and the Wolves should have won and then choked away, and the stupid jersey tuck bullcrap didn't help at all. The Wolves should have won that game. We still should have won that game, even with that bullcrap technical foul. But we didn't. We just didn't, and that's kind of created quite a spiral. The Wolves were on a losing streak. We were going to end it with a nice road win, and who knows what would have happened after that. And whatever happened after that didn't happen. Whatever we thought could happen didn't happen. Mr. Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder's been playing very well lately. He had a couple of big games. His average is now up to almost 19 a game. He's been playing great. Chris Paul has been hanging in there, knock on wood for his sake, though all of us hate his guts right now. 17 points a game. He's been popping up a bit. He's kind of like about where he was with Houston. And would I like to have him on the Wolves roster? Yes. With that contract, no. But if he could be on the roster with the more reasonable contract, yes. But unfortunately, that just doesn't work. Once the contract is signed to the NBA, you're, screwed. Danilo Gallinari, yep, he always beats the Wolves. Chris Paul always beats the Wolves. But I got a sneaky feeling that the Wolves might actually win this game. They might. Oklahoma City's, they're decent. They're not great. They're decent. They're what they are. They've had their moments. They've won 3 out of their last 5. They lost 2 in a row to Toronto, Miami. Not too surprising. Beat Portland by a lot, 13. That's pretty good. Beat Houston, as I said recently, and squeezed past Orlando on the road by 6. They will host the Hawks and then come to Target Center. So a back-to-back for both clubs. So it's an even matchup that way. I think the Wolves win this game. I think the Wolves have an inspired effort. I think Andrew Wiggins has one of his best games of the year. Upper 30s to low 40s in the game. Andrew Wiggins is going to have that game where everybody's going to be like, see, I told you so. I told you so. There's the silent assassin. Well, let's just put it this way. The settler will take a day off, and the silent assassin will be punched in. He'll be punched in. Hopefully the silent assassin punches in more often, but I got a feeling the settler will punch in against Houston. That's my guess. But the silent assassin will return versus the OKC Thunder, and I think he's going to have one of his best games of the year. Upper 30s, low 40s, and the Wolves defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder at Target Center. Yup, I'm saying this for real, by a final score of something along the likes of 125 to 122. Andrew Wiggins, 38 to 42 points in the game, and the Wolves win. And the occasional owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder returns. And there you go. That's his other punch card, his other business card, owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sacramento Kings, Andrew has usually played very well against them as well. I love this matchup. It's always been fun. I like playing Sacramento. It's fun. It's a fun matchup. They're kind of a cool team. They got a future. Unfortunately, Rashawn Holmes, I don't even know how you say that one. Rashawn Holmes is out still. He's been banged up a bit, unfortunately. He's been out a couple of weeks. It looks like he's going to be out maybe a total of a month, so a couple more weeks. Buddy Hield is, doing what he does, leading the team in scoring with 20 points a game. De'Aaron Fox has been out for a long time. He got injured actually against the Wolves, so guys get hurt, just like Kevin Porter Jr. A little while ago. Harrison Barnes is what he is, a good, solid, kind of an overall type of guy. Because he's a veteran already, which is hard to believe. Trevor Ariza was traded away to the Portland Trailblazers. Had a pretty good game last night. 21 points, but in a loss. Bjelica has been one of the best players on the Kings. He can scorch that net. The Wolves could use him right now, like they need to breathe. They could really use Nemanja Bjelica right now. 43 points a game, 43 3-point percentage, 12 points. He's a double-double kind of guy, but he doesn't always get the double-double. He averages about 7 rebounds a game. I love what he does. I love Nemanja. I want him on the Wolves. I wish we could have him, but I don't know how much Sacramento would want. Good, valuable, solid player. Sacramento's not ready to compete for the playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves are not ready to compete for the playoffs. In fact, we have an identical record of 15-29. So something's got to give. Something's got to give, right? We're going to play the Kings, Something's got to give. I don't know. It's a fun matchup. I think, as much as I ragged on the Timberwolves, I think there's a pretty legitimate shot. The Wolves go 2-1 in this week. But I don't know. It's just as quite possible that we go 0-3. But I think the Wolves win at least one. And if they do win one, it'll be this one. Wolves ended their losing streak in just an abomination of a game the day after Christmas Day versus Sacramento in Sacramento in tomato country there in beautiful Sacramento. I think the Wolves win this game. I think we're a slightly better team, despite Sacramento's probably more fun to watch at times, especially when De'Aaron Fox is healthy. But unfortunately for them, I mean, it's been a snide. It's been a big snide. They've lost 5 in a row at least. They've struggled mightily. Got hammered by an awful Detroit team, 127-106. Most recently, they play the Bulls before they play Minnesota 3 days later. They lost to Orlando on the 13th by 2. Oof. They lost to Dallas by 4. Those are close games, but they lost, and then got destroyed by Utah. Lost to Miami by 5. Respectable effort. And again, like I said, 21-point loss to the Detroit Pistons. The malice at the Palace there for Sacramento. It was not a good game for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox is back. I just wanted to make a confirmation of that. Bjelica's been a starter. He's been a good, solid, small power forward. He's just a forward, I guess you could say. But no Richaun Holmes, he's a huge loss. Huge freaking loss. That guy's one of my favorite players in the NBA right now. Huge loss. And that's why another reason I think the Wolves should be able to win the game. Derrick Rose actually led the Pistons with 22 points and 11 assists. That's pretty interesting. Nice night for him, because he's been the starting point guard for the Pistons. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, good for him, though. Good for him. Good job, Derrick Rose, for the Pistons. We'll get back to them at some point. They've been pretty lousy, though. I think the Wolves beat the Sacramento Kings, though. Fairly lower scoring game. Fairly lower scoring, like 115-107, something like that. I think it'll be a good, solid win for the Wolves. Wiggins, or Wig, or whatever you want to call him, ends up scoring like 25, 28. Karl-Anthony Towns gets like 32, 33, something along the lines. So I want to see Gorgui Dieng in there. He had a massive game last time around. Wiggins didn't even play in the last time. Actually, he did, but he had an awful game. That was right before he was out for a long time with sickness. He probably was sick in that game. I mean, 4 of 19 is terrible. So symptoms of some sort were taking over that young man's body at that stage. He was awful from the field goal range, but he led the team nicely. He was like a point guard in that game. It was Wiggins. He was actually very solid in every other statistic except his shooting, which would be nice if he could make more shots. Did get to the free throw line and did well. I want to see Gorgui get a ton of minutes in this game, though. Significant minutes in the game. I loved how he played against Sacramento. He's the main reason he won that game, with that said. So Minnesota wins 115-107 over the Sacramento Kings and goes 2-1, or maybe we'll lose to Oklahoma City in a fairly close game. We'll see. But Houston's not going to be a win for the Wolves. And if it is, wow. I didn't get to the... I never actually got to the Alpha Wolf and Johnny Flynn Memorial in segment number 1. The Alpha Wolf for last week's show, it's going to go to Culver and Okogie. Great effort, good, solid games. Both of those guys did really well. First-round picks back-to-back years here with Okogie leading into Culver this year. Those two guys both earned it with their effort and solid play. The Johnny Flynn Memorial is going to go to the other two guys of Carl and Andrew because of the crappy settler-type behavior. The numbers were good. Carl had 40 points. I'm giving a Johnny Flynn Memorial to a guy that scored 40 points. Yeah, because of the settling. And because of, like, we accept the criticism. I don't like that kind of talk. I want to see something a little bit better than that. And I know you can only get fiery every now and then. A lot of people might think that's fake, too. But sometimes I think it is. And, well, I think it's further proof that it is sometimes when you see quotes like that. You take it all in stride. Oh, I'm not going to accept losing. Da, 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 da. And then you come back with quotes like that. Well, to me, that's kind of like, I don't take either side seriously. You really shouldn't. You know what you should take seriously? The result. The actions. Actions speak louder than words. The actions. Good for him getting the 40 points in the end, but the first half was, not that good. And Andrew especially. The first half was pathetic. putrid, awful. He's the more deserving of the Johnny Flynn Memorial than Carl, but that quote bugged me, and that kind of adds it in. I'm going to mostly give it to Andrew, but it's like a lighter version to Carl, whereas the Alpha Wolf's going to, it's a well-deserved award for Okogie and Culver. With that said, let's get to some fan interaction if there is any. I think it's a quiet week, but we'll see. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 3, fan interaction segment, and there is some indeed, which is nice, which is great. So first of all, we go to the Twitter account, at Wolves Explosion, at Wolves Explosion for Twitter. I want to thank Levi Brown, Tanae Brown, and Vinrock, Vince Germano, for retweeting the most recent show. That's awesome. Can't thank you guys enough always for that. Vinrock, Vince Germano is from Melbourne, Australia. He is a part of the Courtside Podcast with Wayne Hunt, Vinrock, Vince Germano, Stu Benson. Wayne Hunt and Stu Benson are from Sydney, Australia. Stu Benson and Vinrock, Vince Germano are Lakers fans. Wayne Hunt is a Memphis fan, but it is an overall basketball show. The Courtside Podcast, one of the best shows on the planet, if not the best. In fact, I would say it is the best basketball show ever. It really is. I've been listening to it since 2012. They started it in, was it 2010 or 2011? But it was quite a while ago. We're all old school. Mine started in 2008. I'm not trying to brag and mine's even older, but maybe it isn't. I could be wrong, but it was a while back, definitely. And they were as they say, they were the only basketball podcast continuing things rolling forward during that lockout. Now, to be fair, me and Marcus the Forecaster did do State of the Timberwolves 2011 Part 2 during the lockout, but it was one show. It got like crazy numbers because fans were like, oh my God, basketball conversation. So it was one of those where people were desperate for any type of basketball talk, and me and Marcus had a fun one, but obviously Courtside Podcast did just a crazy good job during that lockout, and hard to believe that was already 9 years ago? What? Well, it was late 2011, so still probably like 8 years ago, I guess, because it's late 2011 and early, whatever. The lockout was over at this point, and we were very excited to finally get some basketball in January 2012, and about that time in June, July is when I bumped into that Courtside Podcast, and woo-wee, what a gem it's always been. What a gem indeed. Love you guys out of Australia. And then Tanae Brown and Levi Brown are out of New Zealand. They are just awesome guys out of there as well. Here we go. So Wolves Explosion. Here's an interesting video here from Vince Germano right now. Lakers, Pies, Browns, right? That's his title on his Twitter account, at Vinrock44, by the way. So he's tweeting out at the NBL. Marcus once called it the No Baller League, which is kind of mean. Look at you, Marcus. He was making fun of it because Johnny Flynn was there. That's why. He says, do the right thing, Australia. Make Simmons an all-star again. Make Simmons an all-star again. Voting closes at 3:29 at the time today, Australia time there. Ben Simmons to the All-Star game, yep. So that would be classic. Get some Australian All-Stars in there. Yep, definitely crazy. Pascal Siakam's going to be starting. That's pretty cool over there. But no, Pascal Siakam is not Australian, unfortunately. But he is an awesome player. Love Australians very much, obviously. So we'll move forward there. Thank you, Vinrock. That's a cool video there. Awesome. Classic video. Loved it. Tanae Brown, this was, again, during that awful Chicago game. Wolves shot 13 of 24 from the charity stripe. See, 13 of 24 from the floor, it's like, okay, sure, it's above 50%. The charity stripe, as in the free throw line, this is freaking terrible. Pathetic, yeah, that's freaking terrible. 13 of 24 from the free throw line. Levi says, yeah, LOL. Oh, my. I didn't even mention that on the last show, but that's fine. That's what you're for. That's what you're there for, to help me out, right? And you did a great job there. Thank you for that. I didn't even mention that. And it's like, because I was ranting about the 53-point attempts, and it's just, who was that against, Steven? I think it was Toronto. What the crap, man? That Bulls game really did get a lot of material for this show, I'm telling you. So we move forward. Levi Brown says, and his career account is at Levi WB. The game against the Bulls was the Wolves and Wiggins summed up. Half the game was one of Wiggins' worst ever games. In the second half, him and Cat combining together seemed unstoppable. We are just so inconsistent. And yes, that's the problem. That's the problem. Too inconsistent. It's ridiculous. Levi, I think Tanae responds to it. Yes, he liked it. And there's a thread. Oh, no, Levi kind of kept the conversation going instead. He said, I have to say I'm impressed with the Thunder this year. Looks like they'll lock in the 7 or 8 seed at worst. CP3 has really led the team well, and Schroeder is a 6-man contender. I think he is very much in contention. He's been awesome. I guess it's between Memphis, Portland, and Spurs to get the last playoff spot in the West. And yeah, Memphis has been wonderful. Portland's dangerous sometimes, but they're inconsistent, very inconsistent. Spurs are kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of, they're kind of at a point where it's just like, it's been too long. Before you know it, it's going to be like the Detroit Red Wings, where they made the playoffs like 20-some years in a row, and then finally they're just not making the playoffs anymore. It's over. Like too many people have left over the years. And the guys that replaced them just aren't as good. And, well, they're focused on the draft, and a couple of years later, maybe they'll be good again. We'll see. Make San Antonio great again. But, that's funny. But that's the Twitter account. Thank you again, guys, at Wolves Explosion. Do give that a like and follow, basically, and join that and conversate with me. And keep them coming. Levi, Tanae, Vinrock, Vince Germano. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Keep it coming. You're carrying this show in a lot of ways, especially in this segment. I had this loaded up. There is a couple of posts from Vinrock Vince Germano, or I'll just call him Vince Germano now at this point, on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion, facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion. And again, welcome to anybody that might be a new listener from TuneIn Radio, possibly. I mean, generally speaking, it might be just, same listeners but moving around, which is totally fine. Maybe they're like, I like TuneIn Radio better than Apple or Google or whatever the heck else, which is totally fine. It is what it is. But maybe somebody new is coming in from TuneIn Radio because that's the only app they use. And wow, there's a new Timberwolves show that isn't new at all. It says original unofficial Timberwolves podcast from 2008. Yeah, which is what this is. Let's move forward. Vinrock Germano, I keep calling him Vinrock. Vince Germano says it has to start on the defensive end with the Wolves. Is Saunders a defensive-minded coach? If not, get an assistant who will teach defense. Really, that's Vanderpool, though. The Timberwolves' top assistant, Vanderpool, is a defensive coach. He came from the Portland Trailblazers. So we do have that kind of guy. But still, it's just, throughout the decades, it seems like this team, Tom Thibodeau was a defensive-minded coach, and the defense still stunk. So some guys are just kind of the way they are. It seems like, I don't know, like almost unteachable on defense, it seems like. Of course, we all know how Thibodeau was, a little bit too much, a little too hands-on with that defense. Switch! Every couple of seconds, stupid mother blinker, So, also, Jarrett Allen would be a great start defensively to put at the 5 to release Towns to the 4. Surely Jarrett Allen is available. He's getting inconsistent minutes, and Kyrie is his point guard. Yeah. I know how you feel about Kyrie, and I don't disagree with you. Would I be a fan of Jarrett Allen coming to the Timberwolves? Yes. Anybody who can play center and move Karl to the 4, I'm in favor of that possibility, because you know what would happen? Karl would be better. He'd get more blocked shots. I could just keep saying it. Unfortunately, he'd probably shoot even more threes. But then again, how could he possibly shoot more threes? But he'd be able to move around some more, and he could play down low as well. If he completely ignores his inside game, he's a wasted talent, a complete wasted talent if he's just playing on the perimeter. You're not Luka Doncic, just play your game, Karl. Play your game, damn it. With threes included, to keep the defense honest. Wayne Hunt jumps on board, says, hot seat. Also, I'm totally on board with Jarrett Allen. Makes sense. I'd package Wiggins and whoever at Brooklyn to bring in Jarrett Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie, and with applause following that. Spencer Dinwiddie, yeah. It's like bringing a couple of Nets here, just like Allen Crabbe. I always liked Allen Crabbe with the Nets, and everyone else, not so much. With Portland, he's okay, though, too. So far with us, not much to say. Very lame sample size. Not only small, but lame. Jarrett Allen, I've always liked him, and I like that 70s look that he has to him. I love that. It looks like he's a good baller from the 70s. Spencer Dinwiddie is a sharpshooter, and he's got a lot of energy, and he's got a lot of game. I like him a lot. Would the Nets be willing to make that move? Well, I don't know. Sadly, maybe that's where Gorgie could get included in a trade, and he could start for the Nets full time. I don't know. Maybe that's where you move Gorgie, that type of thing. I haven't looked at the trade machine for that. I probably should have. I wish. Sometimes I should look at this stuff before. Sometimes I should look at this stuff before I before I start the show. That might be smart. There's a lot of NBA trade machines, aren't there? So you got the Wolves. I'm going to kind of almost screw around to this right now just for a couple seconds. There's Wiggins. Let's bring in those Brooklyn Nets, as we like to say. Doing things on the fly. Let's get Kyrie Irving for 38. No, that's okay. Spencer Dinwiddie, okay, to the Timberwolves. Andrew Wiggins to the Nets. And Alan Crabb cannot be traded. Oh, man. Well, that's because he was just traded. Where is that guy? Where is he? Where are you, Gorgie? Where are you, Gorgie? You know what's going to happen. Okay, so how much money's going over? Shit, Gorgie. Boy, that's too much money. $43 million. We need 30 coming back. Jared Allen's not making $30 million. He's making 2. So, yeah, this can't work. Okay, Gorgie, you're out. I don't know. That's a lot of money that would have to come back to the Timberwolves. DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That'd be kind of funny. That actually might be what would happen. But then we'd have too many big men. DeAndre Jordan. Okay, are you kidding me? That's it? Wow. Oh, it's not that far off. And we got to move out one of the cheaper contracts here. They'd probably want Naz Reid, which would be a bummer. Noah Vunla, $2 million. I don't think the trade could even happen. Maybe. That's $7 million apart. Let's try it. I'm guessing it can't happen. Nope. Too much money. Dinwiddie, come on. Where's your contract? Where's your contract, Dinwiddie? So, that's the problem. Trading Andrew Wiggins is not going to be easy. If you're going to get Dinwiddie and Jared Allen, it's going to have to be something else. Unfortunately, I think. Maybe Gorgie instead. That type of thing. Let's get rid of Wiggins, because that's just too much. That's not going to happen. Oh, what just happened? Now it's going to Gorgie's page. I don't know why I would do that. I clicked on the link. That would help. 18 and 22. I don't really want DeAndre Jordan. 12 million. That's too far apart. God almighty. Too far. Because you'd think they'd probably want to unload DeAndre Jordan. They don't have a whole lot. Chris LeVert. There you go. That's it. Karis LeVert. That would be a good one, right? They'd never do that. Probably can't even include Von Lay, so we'll get rid of that. Probably don't want to. Gorgie Zheng, and it's about $3 million difference, approximately, a little over that. Let's see if that is accepted. Yes, it is. So Dinwiddie and Allen for Gorgie Zheng. I'm guessing they would say, get the bleep away from us and stuff. That's probably what would happen, because they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do it. The Nets wouldn't do that, probably. I don't think they like Gorgie enough, but I don't know, because Dinwiddie's pretty good, obviously. He's only got 1 year left, too. He's an expiring. Robert Covington, maybe. Sweeten the pot a little bit. Sweeten the pot. It's Robert Covington. I don't even know if they'd... Yeah, actually they would. If you're going to have Kyrie and Kevin Durant, maybe throw in Covington. $27 million right there. And then we got to include someone else. So, coming back to us, maybe you get DeAndre Jordan. And that's about a $4 million difference. And that trade's successful. So possibly Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, Jared Allen for Gorgie and Covington. That might be where I'd lean with the Brooklyn Nets. Would they do it? Maybe, maybe not. Gorgie and Covington are pretty good players. Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. He's got 4 years remaining, but that's not that much. And he's a good player. He's a pretty good player. You lose Gorgie, this and that. Gosh, the Wolves have too much freaking salary, don't they? All the money in Brooklyn is tied up in Kyrie and Kevin. Those two guys. Yeah, let's just leave that as is. I guess that's where I'm leaning at this stage. 18 bleeping million for Alan Crabb. 18 and a half. So Covington and Gorgie for Dinwiddie, Jordan, and Allen works. If you want to get Dinwiddie and Jared Allen at the end of the day, you have to bring back DeAndre Jordan, which is kind of expensive, but not that expensive. He's much cheaper than Gorgie. So, interesting trade idea, Mr. Wayne Hunt. Boy, you always do it, don't you? You are a son of a gun, aren't you? There's a reason why you're a show host. And, of course, Vince Germano, awesome as well. Very thought-provoking, both of you guys. That's why you're show host. That's why you are. That is why you are. Vince Germano says, can't have all the freedom on one end without responsibility, and the other defense. Frustrating. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I agree 1,000%. And actually, you are the one that brought up Jared Allen, Vince Germano, and then Wayne Hunt added Dinwiddie. So both of you guys, just awesome ideas there. Cool. Gorgie, that's what I come up with, though. That's a trade that would actually work according to the NBA rules. I love NBA Trade Machine. Thank you, ESPN, for creating that many years ago. I believe the Timberwolves hired, our assistant general manager, vice president of basketball, is the inventor of that application, that creation. Good job. That's pretty damn cool. So I'll keep moving forward. Final quote of the day from Vince Germano says, watching the Lakers-Nets game and watching Jared Allen closely, I think he's exactly what the Wolves need next to Towns, plus he's young and can stick around with this team. Yes, I would love to have him if they'd be willing to part with him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets want to keep him. I'm sure they would. Would they want Gorgie and Robert Covington? Maybe, if you package them together. I'm guessing they'd say no. But, I mean, I got to try something. Not a lot of deals work. Andrew Wiggins trade would be very tough to do because of the money's so high. Not only because they wouldn't want the money, but because it's tough to match at times unless you're getting someone really crappy who's overpaid as well in return. Which, welcome to the NBA. Or multiple really crappy guys, like two guys making $12 million that stink, that type of thing. DeAndre doesn't stink, but he's past his prime, that type of thing. And he's making 10 for 4 more years each. So, that's welcome to the NBA. I'll just leave that as is. With that said, that's pretty much it. Wow, it still went over an hour because I went so long in the first segment. And thank you for the thought-provoking stuff there. And it made me want to check out the trade machine. That was sweet. Sweet, fun to do. I love doing that kind of stuff. Haven't used it in a while. So with that said, do get on the phone lines if you could. The only way to do that, though, is audio submission. What's an audio submission? Basically, it's just sending audio to me. Use your smart device with a free application. That's a free voice recording application on every smart device on the planet. Open it up, click record, treat it like a phone call, stop, save it, and email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com. Paladinolive@yahoo.com. I will then convert it into an MP3 file thanks to Zamzar.com. Kind enough to give me a free service because it's not a very big file, obviously. And that way I can put it into this editing software called Audacity and roll from there. It'd be great to hear your voice on the show if humanly possible. Thank you very much in advance for those of you that might be willing to do that. Vince Germano, Tanae Brown, Wayne Hunt, anybody locally here, anybody can do it. Stu Benson, obviously love to hear from someone anytime. Please would love to hear from local, Canada, Australia, China, who cares. If you're on the show, I'd be love to hear from you and get to know you. That'd be great. With that said, hopefully the Wolves can actually go 2-1 this week, end a losing streak and actually have a winning week, which would be really nice. Make everyone feel a little bit better. Maybe help Ryan Saunders with that stress headache he might have, especially after that Bulls game. And me too. With that said, take care, have a great week, and we'll keep rolling next week, next Friday. Timberwolves Explosion.